Hello everybody, it's me Nate, aka Devil Dog, and I'm back with, yes, as you can see by my thumbnail, this is my third and final rant of Arkham Knights. I will not have any more videos after this point involving Arkham Knights. But after finally playing through all the way and beating it yet again in hopes that they had changed something from the official launch version compared to the preview version I received, I have decided, since there's been enough time for people to play this title, I can come out here and say my final thoughts on Arkham Knights, since I will not be reviewing it. Big shout out to Greg and everyone else up at Ailmatic. Anyone who actually enjoys this game, that's fine. Please keep in mind this is strictly just my opinion to this. But I have to let you know about my final thoughts on Arkham Knights. This is going to be a rant, but it's going to be a mellow one. I'm going to stay cool. Can't get my blood pressure up too high. My doctor says I got to stay cool on this one. So I'm going to, but it's still going to have some juicy bits in it. Now, I do have to say, while playing through this game, that I have to say the first third of it is actually quite good. It's a pretty decent built game. The first third of this game, the game world and the way it's structured and the main story, how it starts off with Batman and everything else, is fantastic. That part I absolutely loved, and at first I'm like, okay, this is badass. I'm going to enjoy this game. But as I played more and more, I started to see the cracks in the wall as they started exposing the weaknesses of this title and the development team even more than what I said in my previous rants. First, hands down, is the fact of the repetition. The repetition and the design of this game of constantly redoing the same things over and over and over again. Now, if you have enough variety, that can make it to where the game can be good. But even Greg, I know you won't want to admit it, but even you have to admit at this point, haven't you noticed that the crimes you keep doing seem to be repeating themselves all the time? There's not really that overwhelming large amount of variety in this. And the design of the game is very repetitive. I mean, it's basically two things you do repeatedly. And I'm going to say this right out. The boss fights are total ass. The boss fights are ass. I mean, seriously. You play through this game, and anybody with a common sense can actually go look at this. They obviously meant the boss battles to be done in at least a minimum of 2 to 4 players. The certain moves that these bosses have with the constant combos and ultra, blah, 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 it's obviously meant to be played in 2 players. Now, you can play through most of the game in single player, no problem. If you have somebody on and they're doing their own thing, that's fine. It doesn't really matter. But when you do the boss battles, it damn well, to me at least, seems like it was designed in a way that you needed to at least have 1 or 2 more people with you at all times during these boss battles. And I know that's speculative, but I really do think that's what they designed in this game originally, and they backpedaled for some reason. I do not know. I think they should have some other mode where you go, hey, we recommend you get somebody else in on this to do it, to beat it. But they don't. So the boss battles are my first major red flag in this game of the fact that this game is not designed properly. It really isn't. Why not have 4 players? You have 4 players in this game, and you're telling me you couldn't make it on last-gen systems. Okay, I let that go, I let it go. But you're telling me on PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X and whatever, it can only run at 30 frames a second with only 2 people? You can't have a 4-player co-op? You know how many damn games I have played online with several dozens of other people that have no latency issues or anything? And yet you're telling me on Batman Arkham Knights you can't have it on here. It sounds like the Joker's getting away out there. But the other thing is the menus. Are you going to get the Joker? Oh, it looks like you got the Joker. Cool. But the menus are god-awful in this. I mean, they just, to pick the different missions as you go back to the Belfry, just come off as non-organic. You have all these other missions you do out in the open world where you're doing stuff and you're talking to people, you're getting information that progresses the story in a rather good way. And then you have to go back to the Belfry for these very, very non-organic, plain Jane, crappy mission structure. It just seems like a major missed opportunity in the game world, especially considering that there's a lot of times you can actually progress the story out in the main world if you know where to go and you know who to talk to. That's right, yeah, you don't have to go to the Belfry all the time, but it's designed in a way to where it's like it's not well done. It comes off as totally half-baked. And for a finished game, it's kind of like, oh, why did you have it like this? It seems like something that you would see on a What Happened episode of Matt McMuscles. Hey, Matt McMuscles, yeah, where's your What Happened for Arkham Knights? I want to hear that. The other thing that really bothers me is the loot system. Oh, my dear Lord. Something that could have started off as brilliant just turned into a archaic nightmare of hell and suffering. You come up with the idea of having certain groups of people drop certain items that you have to go and fight to get the items in order to make the loot that you go back to the Belfry to get your new items. But it's done so poorly. It's done like something back from a Nintendo game. It's done so poorly. And for an Xbox Series X or PS5 version of a game, this just seems arbitrary. It seems atrocious. It seems haphazard. It seems half-assed. It seems poorly built. Whoever came up with this design should just be slapped in the face real hard. Seriously. And, oh my God, I'm going to say it. At this point, if you haven't played the game, oh well. But the final boss it's just a joke. The final boss is a obviously drawn out nightmare. I kind of feel bad for the development team. I feel this game was a hodgepodge rust piece of shit that the Warner Brothers kept pushing them to change it, and they had to keep changing it and rebuilding it and coming out with a new version to try to release it, and they had massive delays. And when it finally came out, there's so many pieces to the puzzle that don't quite fit. And the last part has to be the final boss. The final boss is just terrible. It's obviously that they were like running out of time, trying to figure out what to do, and they tacked on this ultimate 5-part battle for the final boss battle. And each time it's like, oh, you beat him. Okay, well, go here and find him again. Beat him again. Okay, fine here. Beat him again. Oh, fight a sub-boss again. And it's almost like the worst version of some sort of gauntlet that you can ever see, where they just tacked it on, then make the game longer and harder. And anyone who's played through the game knows what I'm talking about. If you get to the final boss battle in this game and you don't agree with me on this, you obviously haven't gotten that far, because this is terrible. That's not good game design. The only reason why in a million years a game like this would ever have something like that is because they were out of time and they were like, just get it done, just get it working, send it out the damn door. And the only reason why for so many damn delays would be that Warner Brothers didn't know what kind of fucking game they wanted this to be in the first place, so they keep having a development team remake different versions of the game. And it's sad because it just totally falls apart with the boss battles in this. The boss battles and the level gating. This game and its level gating and its terrible roadblocks, it just leads to a total slog of a game. The fact of how they design this game, where they purposely make it to where you can't progress until you do certain things. Remember I said originally in my rants that this reminded me of a reskinned version of Assassin's Creed Origins? Because this is the same shit they did in Assassin's Creed Origins. Same shit! Just purposely making bullet sponge motherfuckers that you have to be a certain level to actually end up beating, and then make you go through this slog, this bull crap slog that gets your character up enough to be able to progress farther. And it's just terrible. And then the other reason why I have to say this game was obviously rushed, even though it was massively delayed, because the poor development company was probably slaving themselves to the bone to get the damn thing out for Warner Brothers, is it's only got 3 fucking bosses in it. 3 fucking bosses. You heard me right. 3 bosses. You got Harley Quinn, you got Mr. Freeze, and you got Clayface. And out of all of them, the Harley Quinn fight was pretty good. The Mr. Freeze fight, that's the first sign right there when you play, okay, this was meant for more than one player. And then the Clayface fight is so terrible. My God, there's a certain amount of options and variety you could come up with a Clayface fight, and that's what you went with. It's fucking joke. It really is. This game obviously had massive design issues from the start. It obviously originally was meant to be an online service game, and then Warner Brothers might have pulled back to the people like hating other games. It obviously has so many aspects that this was supposed to be some sort of online game where you paid extra things for stuff, to where I feel bad for the development company. The development group obviously had to redesign this game and rebuild it several times. I think Warner Brothers is the reason why this game is so fucked up. And it's a shame because there's so many bones to the skeleton structure that work that would make this a brilliant game. The overall arcing plot of Batman dying and the Court of Owls and everything else is brilliant. I like what they did with it. I really do like the story with this, but it just seems so half-assed and rushed and tacked on that it honestly just feels to me like the poor development company, the development group working on this, was pulled so many ways, shit ways to Sundays and back from the publisher to get this game done a certain way that they weren't able to make what they wanted to make, and it shows in the final product. Anyone out there that plays this can see that. Can see it, obviously, if you have open fucking eyes. Don't be a Batman juggler, as they call it, and open your eyes to the fact that this game is not that good. It has so many good ideas. The structure should be great. The game world is fantastic. But the fact of the matter is there's so many things that scream the fact that they rushed through this to get the game out. And for a game that's been delayed this damn long, the only reason why they would have to rush through it is because the publisher kept sticking their fucking nose in it, wanting to change shit at the fucking 9th hour. And it shows in the final product. All I can say is hopefully this will sell enough for them to possibly get their own reign to make a sequel, Arkham Knights 2, where they have it 4 players, and maybe Warner Brothers will keep their fucking nose out of it and let the development company actually make a decent game this time, instead of having them hodgepodge this shit burger together. Because in the end, that's what I think it is. It's a big shit burger. And that's my own personal opinion. Please leave in the comments below if you agree or disagree with me on this third and final Arkham Knights rant. Give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. I don't mind. I respect each and every single one of you people's responses. Leave comments below. I'll answer each and every single one of them. And remember, here at Devil Dog Gaming, we always end our videos by saying, have fun, play hard, and remember, people, the devil is in the details. Peace out until next time.